Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is the eye test with myself, OMONDI Juma, and my main man, Bath Time, and we will be discussing Brentford 4, Manchester United 0. Yes, everybody, welcome back. This is the eye test. This is the second show of the season, obviously covering the second game of the season, which was even worse than last week. I think we resolved a few problems last week thanks to Bath Time's great graphics, and we've sort of, looked at all the issues and said, all right, if we can see it, maybe it can be resolved. And surely these professionals, full-time professionals, can see it too. But unfortunately, we got battered again. Anyway, over to you, Bath Time. How are you, man? How are you feeling since the result? I'm sure you've been doing your homework.
Yeah, in my personal life, I'm very happy. Lovely day. Even had a cheeky ice cream earlier on, but
Surprise.
yeah, I know. I'm really concerned about Man United, as we all are. We'll go through all of the stuff today, but lads, the problems. There's a lot of stuff that you might have missed that normally I'd say I'd be delighted to share with you, but I'm trepidatious about what we're going to see today. But yeah, so you're all right, Amondo? Everything good?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just looking forward to the show. I always am now because after last week, I thought the show went really well. Went into a lot of detail and a lot of positive feedback about it as well. We're bringing something different. We might be nerds about tactics and that kind of thing, but it's like you were saying, it's like chess, isn't it? Football, there's so much detail to it. And I'd like to, I mean, if we ever meet up, we're going to sit down in a bar and chat for hours about football. That's the sort of thing I love to do anyway, over a few drinks. But the thing about Brighton, we played Brighton, and obviously it was a bad defeat. But I went into the game quite confident that we would sort out these issues and we'd be okay. I thought that we got style of play, just got persist with it. I was not expecting to get licks like this, even though I think you were expecting this in a way, weren't you? You did mention to somebody about if you played a certain three players in midfield, we would get beat 4-0. And you prophesized it, and it came true. So what were you seeing before the game? I mean, probably from the Brighton game. Why didn't you think they'd fix up?
Well, I've said for quite a long time that if you play for example, Eriksen, Fred, Bruno, Eriksen, Bruno, and Donny van der Beek, you will get ripped apart on transitions. You won't be physical enough in the pitch. So when I saw that McTominay wasn't playing, I know that there were wild street parties around Manchester and in the comments and stuff, but I was terrified. I couldn't believe it. We'll get on to selection stuff later, but not having McTominay, I think, is a recipe for disaster against certain teams, and so it came to pass,
I mean,
unfortunately.
you've been a man of your word with McTominay, and you've always backed him. And now that we can sort of go into more detail, I'm even becoming convinced that you're probably right about him and why he's probably played a lot more than other guys as well. But let's just go through a few comments. Because I want to say hi to a few people. Obviously, the Man in Our Agenda. Welcome everybody. Press the like button and subscribe if you don't mind. I want to say hi to MUFC, saying good evening. Glad you tuned in. Someone who is avid follower of this tactical breakdown by Bath Time is Cosman as well. Cosman, I appreciate you coming in again. He's saying, hello, guys. I predicted us to lose 3-1. Vincent, all the way from Brummie, Birmingham. How you doing, Vincent? It's nice to see you again. Glad you're tuned in. And me, Mike, is here. He said, play Varane and Bailey, but crying out loud. We can go into that and answer all these questions, hopefully, throughout the show. So we've got a few topics we'll be discussing in detail today. Any questions, guys, just throw them in there, and we'll try our best to answer them. I want to also say hi, just jumped in, to JP87. I think we can scrape a jaw. He's talking about the Liverpool game, obviously, but we're going to talk about that at the end of the show. So, Bath Time, are you ready to go in and bury Man United and maybe the manager and the players? Let's do this. It's not nice. We don't enjoy doing this, do we? I know, I don't. You don't get any pleasure out of this. Okay. As a supporter. But let's go. So first of all, we're going to talk about Brentford tactics. So Brentford obviously set up, didn't change anything. I think they played the same formation they always do, but obviously they've done their homework, haven't they? So let's just start this off.
All right. I can't see the screen at the moment. I just see what I see. So have we got have we got? Am I wiggling Martinez? Yeah.
Yes. Martinez is doing a little
Right.
shum.
So we're going to talk about the Brentford press first of all. In the match against Brighton, we saw that United had an issue with the press, and what Ten Hag did, his great sort of tactical innovation was Martinez took the goal kicks, and what that meant is that Martinez would pass it to De Gea, which in theory would allow more passing angles out of defence, right? Because last time it was either going to Martinez or Maguire, and you can see that the passing is limited. So this is how Ten Hag tried to deal with it. Brentford went man for man, and they also positioned their two strikers outside the box, obviously coming in to apply the pressure and using their cover shadows, which is the area behind the man, to deny direct passes to Bruno and Fred. Yeah. And when I find it, is this it here? This is it here. I've animated this for you, and I'll show. Like, you've got to give credit to teams sometimes. This is absolutely beautiful how they do this.
Hot potato.
Right. It's so sexy because we'll go through it piece by piece. OMONDI, tell me what Tony is doing here.
So Tony is blocking off the pass to Maguire, but he's bending his run in a way. So as soon as De Gea gets the ball, De Gea might be thinking, right, Maguire, but then that's completely cut out because he's bent the run and he's cut out the cover shadow of everything else. So that's a great run. And Tony's a big physical unit as well. So seeing him charging at you like that, it's got to give you the jitters a bit. So that's a great bended run by Tony, which is best thing to do, really, for pressing. You don't run in straight lines, do you?
That's it exactly. And what he's doing, right, is that De Gea can't now go out here. There were opportunities for De Gea to do it in the match, but he was a bit reticent to be kind to him. And it means now that this side of the pitch is completely blocked off from progressing.
Yes.
And the other thing is we can see heavy pressure on Eriksen. But what is fascinating about this is normally, like as a pivot, you get pressed straight on in this situation. Because if someone is pressing you hard from your left, all you have to do is stick your foot out, stick your ass out, and get all of the contact on the side that you're being pressed on. And you can either turn the man or you can go down and get a free kick. And if you get this number 8 on a yellow card, the intensity of their press has to change straight away.
Very good point, that definitely. It's about using your body, isn't it? You've got to be able to scan and see where someone's coming from, and just put your body in front of the ball. And any sort of contact, you're likely to get the foul.
I mean, imagine if this is a striker and you're the number 8, you would never come at a striker like this because they'd turn you. Very easily. But Brentford obviously know Eriksen, and Eriksen in the game, he got pressed I think 3 times. I've watched all of them. He never played the ball left. He never played the ball to the right. He always played it to the left, and it's how we got caught repeatedly. It's really poor from Eriksen doing this.
Why do you think Eriksen's done that? Never sort of done anything different. He's always played it out to the left, first time pass. Do you think that's drilled into the manager? Say if you get the ball played out wide, or do you think he's just doing that automatically?
I think
there was other options on.
All right, so I think that the manager, right, would want us to progress the ball on our right hand side because Sancho and Dalot and Bruno are better than Shaw, Rashford, and Fred. I think we can all agree at that in terms of getting the ball up the pitch. So United wanted it to go out to our right, which is why Martinez took the kick instead of Maguire. one of the issues that Ericsson had, that I've talked about this at great length, is, and I promise you, I must have thought about 100 fullbacks over my life about this. If you are going to play like a first time pass, the fullback, let me get here, or here even, the fullback has to be behind you, because you can't play that pass blind, and that's what Ericsson was doing. And I don't understand how someone of his experience, his technique, can do this, because I'm sure I've seen him play long balls on his left foot. I think Brentford identified it, that they knew that Ericsson would want to hit it to their right. And what's so great about this press as well is, if you see the number 8, this time Ericsson does get the ball and he passes it back to Maguire. The number 8 follows in. It's so beautiful.
And what does Tony do?
Tony's
Look
coming
at Tony to block off Ericsson, the pass back to Ericsson.
To block off Ericsson, and also he's trying to get in a position to block off Bruno with his cover shadow. So now we've been through that, I'll play that again, and like any sort of comments coming through here.
I just want to say credit to the number 8 for not only closing down Ericsson, but closing down Maguire as well.
It's so good.
Yeah, and it's so fluid as well. It's obviously drilled. And
it's tactic.
Very simple. Yeah, very simple tactic, but very, very effective. I just want to say as well, another thing I want to say is that if the man was told to stick on Ericsson, what he did a couple of times when it's passed out to Ericsson, he sort of dropped off Ericsson. So Ericsson turned around, he's like 10, 15 yards off him. And then when he was blindsided, then he'd burst and go close him down really quickly. So,
yeah,
and then the second time, he was touch tight to him, you know. So it mixed up. Because Ericsson tried to look disinterested, walk away, and then come back, say, yep, set me, you know, and wasn't fooling anybody.
No, I mean, I just, like, I don't know what we were doing, and we'll get on to the Maguire stuff a little bit later, but this throw in here is what led to the first goal.
Before we move on, there's a few questions here, a few comments as well, important ones related to this. So Cosman here saying, my man Darius, aka Bath Times, you get a big up. Montreal's in the house as well. He's saying hello, lads. And all the way from Kenya, it's Mo. How you doing, Mo? Nice to see you again. Emma here is saying, imagine the scenes though if we win against Scousers. Yeah, that's to come. We'll try and replicate that. Montreal's saying, now that was definitely man-to-man marking. This was early in the show when you mentioned about the high press and how close they were to our players. A few good ones here. De Gea with hospital pass to Ericsson there. He's stating. Andrew Williams saying he isn't used to playing that deep. He's referring to Ericsson. We've got, Cosman again. The weight of the pass from De Gea was bad. We've got Rory C. How you doing, Rory C? He's saying, is it because Ericsson can't pass on his left foot? But I think you responded to that, didn't you, Bath?
I definitely saw him play a really good left-footed pass against Brighton. Yeah. Happy birthday, Box.
Box, I just falling for it. It's not your birthday, of course, but happy birthday there. I'll just join with Bath Time. But Box is saying that Sancho's still standing from the Brighton game, because obviously last week, if you watched the show, we were highlighting he wasn't moving much. Sports Chris is saying Harry Maguire is ahead of the 6-yard line, which allowed Tony to close the distance quickly instead of staying in line with the 6-yard line. Like Martinez does, this is a flaw in Maguire's game. Can we go back to the graphic, maybe?
Yeah. It's an interest. That's a very interesting point. And fine details do matter. I actually have the picture of it, I think.
No, something I wanted to mention as well. If you with the graphic, something I wanted to mention about where I asked my team to set up, as in bringing the ball out, and basically the fullbacks aren't that high up. They are sort of almost in line with the 6-yard box, so they can guarantee they get the ball. So if you pass it, as soon as it gets out to me at the centre back, I'm automatically passing them, because it's easy. That means you'll see, because obviously the attackers can't come in the box, so they either go over to that side. You can't go into the box, so you can't cut the angle over there to cover the fullback. Or that gives me the option of playing to the midfielder straight away. So
So
I
you're
like
saying
my
you play like
fullback
this, and the strikers like they can't
I can't see.
cover all of these things.
Let's get the screen up.
Am I? Oh, I'm not sharing, am I? I've just been
No.
I've just been pressing buttons like an idiot.
So here we go.
So
So
do you
yes,
like to set up like
on the
this?
hugging and touchline.
Yeah.
So you can see if you do that, this is what if my brother's watching, because we were playing 2 centre, you're not allowed in the box. Attackers aren't allowed in the box. So I'm always asking the fullbacks to have the touchline and be sort of almost parallel with like that's okay. So if you start like that, what I believe the goalkeeper will roll it to number 4 me. I'm going to pass it to number 2 and peel off and get the return, or as you said, number 8 or the winger is going to come in and make an angle for the pass. So there's 2 options: back to me, midfield player, or the winger. Or the centre midfielder. That's why I think it's safe to do that. But obviously, with these professionals, they're doing it a different way. I'm playing a lot more safe and secure, I imagine. But yeah, I think we're not going to see that done. I can't imagine. But I think the fullbacks should play in line with the centre backs to ensure they get a pass and then there's a return. There's 2-3 options on already.
Yeah, I think the sort of the difference between like that and what Ten Hag is doing is Ten Hag likes his fullbacks essentially to invert onto this line with the single pivot and trust that Martinez with his left foot and Maguire with his right foot can hit all the different passing options that the rotations are giving.
Yeah.
But I don't disagree with you where if we'd done this, we wouldn't have conceded 2 of the goals. And we didn't score any goals, so maybe you're right with that one.
Okay.
And are we looking at the deep balls next?
Yeah. So let's move on. This is still under Brentford tactics because obviously the first tactic we discussed there was closing down from goal kicks and pressing high, man marking.
So all right, I just have
some. At here, then?
These are just some photo. Before we look at the animation, I'm just going to show you the photo of the game, point some stuff out, so that everyone has confidence that the animations we're giving you are like correct. And this is a long goal kick from Brentford in it. Yeah.
Yep.
And the first thing I want to point out is for all our fans out there.
1, 2,
what
3,
is that?
4. Do you want... Come on, can someone answer this?
Can someone tell me what this is? What structure we call this? I'm not moving on till I hear the answer.
I'm waiting. Someone's typing, I'm sure.
Yeah.
This is Brentford's. They've just taken a goal kick, so that's their defenders. Here we go. Andrew Williams has come in.
Thank you, Andrew.
There you go. Thanks.
Right. Now, Monday, why do you play a rest? What's the best execution of the rest defence? Why do you have it?
I think if you're playing high up the pitch, you want to squeeze, you play in the opposition's half. I think if you have a rest defence, it's 5 players. You'd have your 2 centre backs, you have a midfielder deep, and the 2 fullbacks tucked in. It's an insurance policy, so you're always going to have numbers back, but also you'll be able to intercept the ball and turn it over quickly. So if you do give up the ball, you'll be able to pinch it early if you get the guys right in the right position. So usually the fullbacks might pin a midfielder down and stop them from playing out. And it sort of suffocates team, I imagine, to sort of so whenever they think they're going to play out, they pass it to a teammate, and suddenly they've got a man on their back from the rest defence, and it's easier to turn over. So I think it's a crucial tactic, and we've seen a lot of that. I'm incorporating that in my Sunday team now, thanks to the philosophy of the rest defence. It's genius. But yeah, I think it's all about insurance and getting your players and your team to be secure at the back, but at the same time stopping them from playing out. So if they try to counter you, you're already in position to cut it out, immediately.
Perfect, right? I completely agree, and I'm sure everyone in the comments does as well. You want the rest defence allows you to play high up the pitch and still protect yourself. So what Brentford have done is they've booted it into this area here, which they did again and again and again. But importantly, they have got a rest defence up the pitch that means that they are in a position to counter press. And this is this is wildly disrespectful to Manchester United, because what they're saying is we can't deal with long balls and they can win it up the
Win the
pitch
second ball.
easily. Yeah,
First and
easily.
second ball, yeah.
So this is like I can show all the pictures if you want, but I have put them into like this animation that you can see. So in the comments, let me know if you want to see the photos. But this is essentially what Brighton did to us again and again.
So you said they targeted a specific area. Can you explain why they targeted a certain area?
They targeted this area here, and I think that they targeted these 4 players and possibly this player here, Rashford. Fred, we know, is not positionally particularly good, and we know that he is terrible for duels, like for physical duels. Eriksen positionally is okay, work rate is fine, but he's not good at physical duels.
As we saw last week with Salcedo, when he just brushed it.
He just got absolutely eaten. And then Martinez is a 5'9" centre back, and teams are going to test him. Like they're gonna test him every single match until he rises up. And Shaw is okay in the air. He's all right in terms of his physicality. He could sit on people for sure. But this area here is extremely weak to high balls, and it's extremely weak to second balls. Whereas this area here with Delot and Maguire are probably our best aerial defenders in this team.
Yeah.
And the whole like look, this is so beautiful. Look at that. You've got the 5 unit there of the rest defense, and you've got the attacking unit there, and the target line there, all ready to press and win the ball back. And this is what happens. So we'll play it through, and then we'll go through it afterwards.
We've won the ball there, but it's gone straight to the rest defence. We've turned it over. Shaw's given the ball away. And they're in a good position here. There's space. Oh, gosh.
It's really worrying, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'll play it and then pause it. So the first thing that happens, and this is disappointing to me, is Martinez and Maguire allow themselves to be pinned by, I think this is Tony. And Shaw has to vacate this area here to come out and clear the ball over Fred and Eriksen.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. I know what Andrew is thinking in the comments. I quite rate Shaw for just coming out and dealing with this. But the problem is that you want the ball headed into wide areas, because it's harder to punish you from wide areas. Shaw knocks it straight into the counter press structure.
Yeah.
So they've from a goal kick in 3 or 4 seconds, they've got up to here in a great position, because we're unable. These 4 players here are unable to deal with a direct ball. And this isn't about Martinez being short or whatever. You've seen it. It happened. We can't deal with it. And then
It's gone straight to them.
This is absolutely shocking. I can show you the photo. Is that we've got... Okay, first of all, let's just say that this is brilliant from Brentford, because they've got their unit of 5 attackers here, and they've got their unit of 5 defenders here, which is... We all love structure. But for Eriksen and Fred have left... I can't remember who it is, Bueno or someone, have left this massive hole here for him to win the header, and Rashford is getting run on by this guy here. He's completely forgotten who's providing width, and Fred is doing nothing. He's not on the number 7. He's not contesting the space. Like it's really, really worrying, and it gets worse.
Well, hold on, when you stop right there, because Shaw's tucked in now, with his centre back. So there's no way through that line there. So the only way it can go is really wide at the moment. Play the ball wide. But I've noticed at the end of this phase, there's a big space from the centre back and the fullback, which is worrying. But I didn't notice that before. But you just highlighted Fred, and what the hell is he doing? Doing a Rashford from last week, standing still.
because this is okay as a block here with the amount of men that we've got in, but this isn't.
Yeah.
The space in between the lines. Eriksen needs to be there. Fred needs to be there, and then Shaw. I think Shaw's position is okay because I think that Rashford should be working back here. But
Yeah.
this is Brentford do not respect our midfield, and they certainly don't respect the left-hand side of our midfield. And this shouldn't be allowed to happen. And as you're going to point out later, it gets worse. Because after a series of events, what actually happens is Martinez gives it to Shaw, and Shaw is looking to play between the lines to Fred, or possibly for Rashford. I don't know what is going on in that brain of his. And it's
miles
and
off.
now, where's the big gap, OMONDI, that you would legitimately shoot someone in your team?
You said
over?
about a bus. You said about a double-decker bus could fit through there last week, but yeah, this is probably you can get an oil tanker or something through there. Massive space. And the thing is, Shaw's just seconds before that, Martinez dropped in, I think, to receive. Oh, Martinez is there now. Okay,
Martinez is here.
dropped in to receive the ball from Shaw, give him an option, and now he's come out wide. It's just, yeah, it shouldn't have gaps like that. Martinez should just keep his position central to the pitch, in my opinion, rather than drawing and getting drawn out like that.
I completely agree.
He doesn't know at this point where the ball's going, whether it's going to feet or not.
It has to be there.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter where like Shaw is. He's got to be here. I like Eriksen's position here, and I'm a bit old school, so I would actually like Delot to be tucking in. But we're on a transition, so maybe Delot's in the right place to spring. But this is incredibly worrying. We're going up against possibly the best counter-press team the league's ever seen. People are delighted that Darwin Nunez is out. After the problems that we've seen with the press here and with the counter-press here, all of you should be terrified of Firmino. All of you. He's the best pressing forward in the league by a mile. What they're going to do with us with this selection is scary. But comment time, is it? Let me see who's telling me I'm an idiot.
I'm just going to give a quote which is relevant to what we're talking about right now. So the goalkeeper Rayo from Brentford, formerly of Blackburn actually. He says that was the plan, kicking it long to utilise Tony's strengths in the air, and it paid off. To win 4-0 in our first home game of the season against Man United is special, is massive for us. And there's also data that says that Tony, up there with Chris Wood and Souček last season, only those two were up there, had more aerial duel wins than him. So Tony's in the top flight, is up there when it comes to aerial duels, maybe third. He's won 56 of those duels. And the quality in the air, this is what Tony said, my quality in the air is something we worked on. I'm up against smaller centre-back, Martinez, he's saying here, and I was just trying to put my body about to get the better of him. He said, to be fair, he was very aggressive on the floor. It was a compliment. He got subbed at halftime, whether it was because of me or was it due to the style of play they wanted to go for. So there you go, some telling comments there from Tony and the goalkeeper who plays that long.
Raya, ¿por qué no te callas? Bit of Spanish for you, lads. That means why don't you shut up? To that goalkeeper laughing at us.
Hi to Rich Watts. Before we move on, Rich Watts, how you doing? Go and check out his channel. It's usually around this time, 10:15, 10:30. But all things Man United, great topical discussions he has there. And bath time, you're often on Rich Sports as well, which is great viewing late at night. Andrew Williams is saying, Martinez and no real number 6 means we are pony on second balls. Good point, I imagine. Montreal is saying, gotta need the Top Gun push up treatment more in training with that kind of poor positional discipline. So is he meaning like getting a line up like Baresi?
I've no idea what Top Gun push-up treatment means. Like I can't lie. I don't. Sorry, Mon.
Oh no!
I don't know what this means.
It's officer and a gentleman push-up. So drills and push-ups for making mistakes, that kind of thing. That's what he's talking about.
Officer, is that the one where like Richard Gere carries like some woman
Yeah.
in? Like, that's what it looks like with Martinez and Maguire. Because it'd be nice if we'd signed all of Martinez instead of half of him.
Short jokes.
Yeah.
Mark Edmonds is saying Shaw has lost pace and is reactive. He has to be dropped from Malacia. Andrew Williams is saying here, magnificent shape. I'm sure he's referring to Brentford. And there's no females on here. Box is saying if McTominay was there, he would need a steering. He would have been steering the ship. He would have been steering the ship. Okay.
We'll get to that later, Box. But yes, I don't disagree with you.
And Rory saying he's kind of mad. We talked talking about a few years, players too lazy or don't know any better. He's asking the question. So just 2 points there, yeah. But just going back to this one, if McTominay was there, he would be steering the ship. Is Box trying to say McTominay would be organising?
Well, I think Box is is setting himself up for some sort of Titanic joke. But I think right, so there is absolutely no doubt that Ten Hag made an enormous error in selection, and he changed it at halftime, where he changed that left-hand side by bringing on Malathea, by bringing on Varane, and by bringing on McTominay. It was criminal not to start McTominay in this match. I know you all hate him, and I know you all think that I'm demented for saying that McTominay has to play every match, but he does. Because there is no one else in our midfield who can deal with these kind of things. Teams know it. We can't play out from the back, and we can't win the ball. So they're just bombing it up the pitch. And like, if Mr. B's gonna sort of erupt out of a wall somewhere, like in that film Aliens, in a second. But you need McTominay's work rate, and you also need his positional discipline. I know a lot of you don't think he's disciplined, but McTominay respects the block, and he will always bust himself to get in the block. And we're going to have a little, after we finish these comments, we're going to have a little look at what our friend Fred was up to on the first goal.
Okay, so Rory's saying it's kind of mad. We're talking about a few years, players too lazy or don't know any better. Do you think it's a combination of the two?
I think it is a combination of the two.
Andrew Williams is just saying criminal. He's getting really upset now watching this. Box is saying the personnel have had years of no coaching and on top no IQ or common sense. Ten Hag needs to spoon feed them or hold their hands. I agree. I want to say hi to.
I wonder what Luke Shaw's getting spoon fed. It's custard. Yeah.
I want to say hi to Chris from Leicester Till I Die. Now,
hi, Chris.
How you doing, Chris? This is the best Leicester channel out there. I don't care if you're a Leicester fan or not. Go and support Chris at Leicester Till I Die. Funny guy. We miss you, Chris. Haven't seen you for a while. Good to see you soon. For Core says good evening. How you doing? Andrew Williams saying Fred needs to have a spell on the bench also until we are spending a lot more of the game higher up the pitch. Sports Chris is saying I didn't want McTominay to be in the team, but now I understand after first half against Brentford why he should. So there you go, a converter. Colm is saying go and check out Colm's fantasy football league show, and he's also on FTB Sports as well. He's saying Vaughan and OMONDI, why do you think De Gea is struggling so much with playing out from the back? And want to say hi. We will answer that in a sec. Box saying I don't hate McTominay. It's not his fault he plays. And Andrew Williams is saying he's the only one who offers us any protection. I want to say hi to Mark Edmond, all the way from Australia. How you doing, Mark? Haven't seen you for a while. He said McTominay is our best midfielder. Low bar, but it's true. And we'll leave it as that. Do you want to just touch on this? So he likes Gare from Paris Saint-Germain. Said he's.
I don't know. I've never seen him play, and he has some quite questionable views.
We might touch on this later, but Colin was asking, why do you think De Gea is struggling so much playing out from the back? I've got my opinion on that. I think you have too. Do you want to go?
I don't really want to. I mean, like, it's confidence and talent.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yes, good answer. I do. Yeah, I think it's the same. I do think the same. I think he's shook, and his kicking, I think, is not improving at all. And he's shook when people are charging him down. Even when he's coming out from corners, you don't see him coming out claiming for corners. He's got one of the lowest percentage out there because he doesn't want to get slammed or whacked you know. And when you've got that sort of mentality, you're not going nowhere. And when his distribution is really poor as well, he doesn't speak. No, you know, he doesn't have the air of confidence like some of the good goalkeepers out there. Anyway, let's get back to the data, the graphics. Here we go.
So on the topic of De Gea, I'm pretty sure everyone is in chat is going to say like De Gea was just a buffoon and not the Italian goalkeeper for the first goal. That's Buffon, by the way. There's so much wrong in the first goal. It's untrue. It's worrying. I spent 20 minutes making this animation. But this is how we set up from the throw-in. I know that Box in chat, and once again, happy birthday. Box is constantly going on about how poor we are from throw-ins, and I completely agree with him. This is madness. What happens here? So I'll play it through, and then we'll highlight.
So hold on 1 second. This throw-in, just a reminder, came from us trying to play the ball out.
Yes.
And as far as we got was just Harry Maguire getting closed down and getting a throw-in deep in our half.
Yeah, and this is what happens. All right. So first of all, Amondo, do you think that this is an issue? Throwing the ball there?
Yeah.
Madness. It's absolutely madness. Ronaldo, we all know what Ronaldo is and what he's good at. One thing he isn't good at and has never been good at is hold up play, like physical hold up play. If you put men on him, he doesn't. He's good at attacking spaces, but he's not great with his back to goal. In terms of holding the ball up. And he certainly shouldn't be bloody doing it in the middle of the midfield here with 4 men around him. Like it should be getting played to Maguire, and he can try and hoof it, or you could, I don't know, throw it to De Gea. But the last thing you want to do is play into their hands and throw it here, and then this.
Sorry, just stop you there.
Yeah.
Still to this day, I don't understand why you're playing the ball to in a crowded area like that. I would either play it to Sancho down the line because he's in front of his man. I'd play it to Maguire, which would be the best option there. And then Martinez could peel off and you could start again and play it to the right back or to the left back if you could. Or use the keeper as a sweeper keeper and get him to receive the ball. And then you could stretch it and get them to shuffle over. There's many options there. But I think because Ronaldo's got so much influence and people just want to pass to him for the sake of it, he's like gave him the eyes to say, yeah, I want this. And he said, and he probably say to people, I don't care if I've got a man on me, just play it to me. I know good players say that all the time. And so why you make a throw in like that? It just doesn't make sense. But anyway, that's if you
and it's Delo as well, a Portuguese boy.
Of course.
Like I don't know if that makes a difference, but I want you to look at this. Number 11 is who scores the goal, and Fred. I don't know what on earth he's gambling on here. Because Amanda, have you ever seen the film Final Destination?
Is this? Yeah, I have. There's something about a plane that he decides to jump the plane.
In the film Final Destination, people get killed in like the maddest ways, and the scene starts off in like a B&Q or a hardware store, and you know there's danger. Fred has never seen Final Destination because he doesn't see danger. Like, do you know what I mean? When you're playing in a defensive position, you've got to look around and see the potential for stuff to go wrong. And Fred is gambling on a flick on here, and it costs us a goal. And like, so keep your eyes on Fred, lads. Like, what is he doing?
Fred has vacated the scene.
And
my gosh.
This guy scores, and Fred should be there.
Exactly.
Like, it's good unbelievable. Point. So Martinez now has an issue, right? I personally think that you get into this position, that you just get out here as quickly as possible to block the centre. No. You're the centre back, but what? Has Martinez made a mistake here? Has Shaw made a mistake? What would you want to see happen on this
I
frame?
think it's fine. I think it's fine because look, you can't blame them because the midfield's out of position. So what you do now is try and get your body or get numbers behind the ball and restrict him. No, so the guy can't see all the goal; he can only see a certain area. I just think if you watch Maguire, for example, Maguire should be shuffling back in immediately once he sees this sort of situation. And the guy number 3's made a decoy run to give the guy an option, which distracts Shaw as well. So Martinez only got one choice, not to go to the man, but sort of shuffle over and sort of block the ball or make himself as big as possible, in my opinion. So I know you said he should have. We discussed.
I want him to bang him.
You want him to come out and
I want him to come out and bang him. He's meant to be a butcher, bro. We've got a fishmonger.
Like Baker, yeah.
Yeah, well, whatever, candlestick maker. I'm also really disappointed with Rashford because this run here that that sort of like puts Shaw in two minds.
Yeah,
just work, get back in. Yeah. Like you can run that way, so you can run the other way. But Martinez also, for me, he doesn't throw himself at it when the ball comes out, and from here on in, it's all down to De Gea. Just whatever's happened to him. But there's so much is wrong here. You can't throw the ball into that people there. You can't have Fred running off. You can't have Rashford being so so lazy. And I would like to have seen Eriksen and Maguire hurting themselves to get back in. And that's when we talk about the work rate. Sorry, Amanda.
So I think going back to Martinez, because you're giving him a hard time, and he's got nothing on his plate already, which we'll get onto later in the show. But I do think he's got to stand up. If you go in too hard, someone could cut you in half, and he can't afford to do that because he realizes there's no one supporting him. And there was a decoy runner going off for Shaw. So I think he done the right thing. Because if he would have dived in, he could have got chopped and embarrassed, and then the guy's got an open run into goal. So I just think by standing up and trying to cut the angle without looking like he's, I know you want him to go in there full pelt, but I think he's done the right thing, considering everything around him, especially now that I see it on the graphics. These graphics are good because you can really see the whole picture here rather than just a TV camera angle of what was done. So I think he's done the right thing. I'm not blaming him at all.
Yeah, well, this is a midfielder versus a defender because I'd be absolutely going mental at Martinez for it's a yard. He needs to get there quicker. If he's quicker by a yard, and that first yard is in your head, and I'm worried he doesn't spot danger enough. And speaking of spotting danger, Amonde, we're going to go on to the third goal, but before that, we've got a question about Maguire.
Okay, so the question that we have about Maguire is this: Harry Maguire captaincy, is that in question? Now, this has been brought up many times by fans, especially on this channel as well. They're disputing whether he should be having the armband after sort of his performances last season, especially, and cupping his ears, and there's a few other things that did really upset a lot of people, that really got on their nerves, and they're fed up of him. But my question would be, maybe it is in question. I do think he lacks kind of leadership or visual leadership that we want to see on the pitch. I don't know what he does in the changing rooms, or whether he does like a little lottery or plays bingo with the guys or that kind of thing. I really don't know what he's doing in that respect. But halftime's just left, but I'll continue. But I do think there's an issue about captaincy with Maguire. I think he has to show a lot more. And when we're seeing situations like this where we're getting opened up, it always comes down to communication. And I want to see a bit more communication from him to sort of get his defence, because he's responsible for that defence. When things go wrong, it always comes down to the main leader in defence. I play in defence. I'm the organiser in my defence. I make sure everything's organised. If something goes wrong, I'm the one who's going to know what's happened and why it's gone wrong. And then I'm the one who's likely to get the blame for it as well. Even though I'm asking someone to get in position and fill in, and they don't, I'm the one who's going to get the blame. You know what I'm saying? And that's what a leader's supposed to do. You're supposed to be able to take the blame and be responsible for it. But it's getting to the point now where I'm looking at his body language and I'm starting to question whether he's been disrespected so many times, been undermined so many times. He hasn't got the confidence to really believe in what he's saying or believe in what he's doing or demand it's demanding stuff from players. Maybe he doesn't got the respect, saying someone drag yourself in, pull in like that properly, where people respect him. That's the issue I have. When you hear him talk, his body language doesn't give that persona of someone who would headbutt you in the change room for not listening to him at half time.
All right. Well, for me, the big. Also, I'm getting feedback. Is that on my end? Okay, never mind. For me, the big I am not particularly into sort of captaincies and stuff like this. I don't really care, to be honest. But what I cared about in this game is that after 20 minutes, we're 2 goals down, and it's blatantly clear that our tactics aren't working. We're not able to get out using a single pivot. I think that it's difficult, right? Because I think that on the pitch, the players need to sort it out themselves. And Maguire, as the captain, should have said, we need Fred or we need Bruno coming back to help us play out from the back. And this is the first big issue I've ever had with Maguire. But I also don't know if that is going against like what Ten Hag is doing, 3 or 4 days of training. So I'm interested in the comments if you lot think that Maguire or a proper United captain would have stopped what we saw after 20 minutes of getting severely pressed from the back that has basically cost us 2 goals. And
while we're on this subject, I think there should be many captains on the pitch, people leaders as well, and it's not just for them to talk. So I've seen Eriksen and Maguire talking throughout the game. So obviously they're discussing something, which probably said, "Why aren't we doing what we're supposed to be doing?" For example, you know. And when you're talking about, like, I know we're going to come into it later, but the corner, for example, if things don't look right, or if an extra man comes into the box when you spent all week drilling how to defend corners against Brentford, and another man comes in you weren't expected, you don't just say, "Well, what am I supposed to do now?" You're supposed to improvise as a captain and say, "Right, striker, you come back and you help out here." You know, you have to improvise. Not so you can see things happening on the pitch. You can have your instructions and what you're supposed to do, but a good leader will be able to adapt and evolve during the game and to protect the defense, especially. So, it's a good question. I'm wondering what the people in the comments think about it.
It's what a roller coaster of a night. I've had people telling me that they now think that McTominay should play in every game, and I've got you questioning Harry Maguire as captain.
Unbelievable!
I can't believe what's happening.
Look how far we've come. You know.
Yeah.
This is mad. So, best field on-field communicator is McTominay, says Mark Edmonds. Here we go again. Just going to read a couple of these about the captaincy. Box is saying we have no candidates for captaincy. He is captain by default. I'd give the captaincy to Varane, ice cold leader who doesn't talk a lot. Rico, how you doing, Rico? He says the problem is not Maguire being captain. The real problem is who would be captain. That's a good one there. Just coming through. So here we go again about McTominay has the traits of a captain but lacks the ability. Does a captain have to be playing all the time like a first teamer?
You would want them to be like, they don't, like, you get kind of ceremonial captains that who are like the senior players and stuff, but at the moment we need leadership on the pitch. Like that's one of the big things we need.
Andrew Williams is saying Maguire, I think, is the guy that that's leaking some of the crap about Ronaldo. Maguire isn't any sort of a captain, would have squashed all this BS even if it's not him. So all the internal issues, he thinks captain should sort that out. Mike, how you doing? He says Maguire is trash. Play Bailey and Varane, captain Varane. You said this at the start of the show, so yeah. Why would you play those two together? Do you think those two would be a good partnership? And who's the leader? Oh, you said Varane's the leader out of those two. Box as well is saying give it to Varane. Maguire weighed down by the armband. He shouldn't have been weighed down, but he is. Disappointed that he hasn't had the mental fortitude, although he's been scapegoated far too much. I want to say hi to Chris. Chris is saying, I'm glad De Gea has got the balls to admit that he played badly.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I think, and Sports Chris is saying Rashford wasn't tracking back, going back to that move all the time. He was tucking in during defending, and Luke Shaw said nothing to him. So again, communication.
I quite like Sport Chris's comments because I agree with him. Like Rashford has improved his defending, and he's improved it in terms of that he's clogging up the centre of the pitch more. So, like, what Chris is saying here is that he's not really following his man. He's getting into a block, which I agree with, but I think that a bit more experience from Rashford should know that he's got to follow the man. And I can't speak to if Luke Shaw is talking to him or not. I didn't notice that. But good comments, Chris.
I agree with the point that Luke Shaw should talk to him.
Yes.
If there's things happening before your eyes, you should be able to communicate like that. Mark Edmonds saying Maguire doesn't know how to lead. So, yeah, you can see by the feel of the comments that everyone's questioning Maguire's captaincy.
Mm-hmm.
But damn right, it should be questioned. But there's the main thing for me is that who else would come in? You need someone who's going to play quite regular. It's been suggested McTominay. I've granted he's a very good player for the work rate he does. But I don't know if he's going to be playing regularly if under this sort of system. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? Because a lot of people doubt his ability.
Yeah, but at the moment we need work. We need work, right? I think everyone's coming round to my view on McTominay. But he might not be the best player, but he has to play every game because this is what happens when we don't have him.
So where are we at now?
Corner.
So defending corners. Obviously, this relates to a number of set pieces. We would have known this coming into the game against Brentford. They're very good at their set pieces, aren't they?
They are. And on the screen now, I have set up how we set up to defend the corner. We have the Brentford players in their position, but I thought maybe you would like to talk about the setup here, what it's trying to do and all that.
Okay. So this is a corner we're defending here. So as you can see in the 6-yard box, which is really where most goals are scored and the danger area, you've got two players. You've got at the front of the 6-yard box, you've got number 9, which is Ronaldo. He's 6'2". He should be able to clear headers. And you say, well, he's a striker. But you see players like Harry Kane. He also plays that near post defending role. And a lot of other attackers do that. So they're the ones who can clear the ball and then wait for the counter. Next to him, you've got Luke Shaw, I believe, in number 3. So he's just keeping an eye on things there. This is zonal, by the way. They're not picking up everything. This is how they're supposed to be positioned. Behind them, in the centre, where the danger area is, covering the goal, you've got the two centre-backs who are supposed to be the best headers of the ball. That would be Martinez and Maguire. So they're kind of free roles, and that's their zone. So basically, zonal means you mark a zone, and anything that comes in that house, you say, it's my house, I'm clearing everything or anyone out the way to defend this corner. So zonal marking just means you position yourself in an area, a space, and you make sure you clear that space and dominate that space, and no one can get a run on you, whatever. So you've got to be looking 360 once obviously the Brentford players come into this. And at the back post, you've got Dalot, who's also quite big as a defender. He's a fullback, but he's probably about coming up to 6 foot. So he's supposed to control and zone that area too. Ahead of them, you've got roamers, players that should be going man to man or blocking runs from opposition attackers. So these 4 guys that you see here that's been marked out, they should either be blocking the runs, tussling with people and stopping them getting a run onto the zonal area. So you want to stop that run or at least go with them. And that's a good setup. I'm quite happy with that. And obviously, you've got the man Sancho blocking the short pass for the corner as well. So that's at least quite secure if everyone does their job.
Nice. And then here, this is just to show you how Brentford set up at the corner. The players, I don't know if these are the right numbers, but these are where the people were. Is there anything you want to point out here, Armando?
Well, I know it's like, guess what happened next? I know what happened next. But So you can see, as I was saying, with the guys not in the zonal area, not in the 6-yard box, they're supposed to be roaming around and man marking. So you can see it's a bit congested there. You've got Tony, which I know is number 9 there, and you've got players around him trying to mark him. But what they should be doing is blocking the run, okay? And then you've got the Brentford players. If it's a ploy, they will be trying to block the run, peel off someone and block someone's run. A bit like charging on basketball. You stand in front of someone and block their run and make it not look like a foul, so they run into you. So you have to get there first. So it's all a ploy here. That's a bit of, you have to be smart in these positions. But the main thing is you have to go with your man. So if you're sort of you pick up this 3-on-3 there, they'd be saying to each other, right, who you got? And in this example, Ericsson said, I got Tony. So Ericsson was due to mark Tony, and then it's down to the Brentford guys to either mess them up somehow, block Ericsson's run, so Tony can get a run on them, and that's what you do. So when you're out near the edge of the box and you're getting a run into the 6-yard box, it's harder for the guys in the zonal area to pick up someone who's got a running jump rather than someone who's marking their zone and having to watch the ball as well. So you can see what they've done here. And just to add, number 6 and number 7, the very important key role here. What they've done, I believe, they've put blockers on the goalkeeper because they clearly played a back post corner here. So the back post corner going across the goalkeeper. Someone, the goalkeeper, will usually come and claim that. So if you put a block on a goalkeeper, the goalkeeper goes to run and he runs into you. And he's a big, fit, solid guy. He's rock torsos, and it's hard to sort of get around that. So number 6 and 7, I think, are doing a good job there, restricting the movement of De Gea.
That is fantastic, Omondi. That's really, I mean, for me at least, I don't defend corners, lads. For me, that's absolutely fantastic. So what we have is we have 2 zonal areas here and here, with Ronaldo, one of our better headers at the ball, defending the near post, and Maguire and Delo sort of defending the back post. And our lads here, their jobs are to stop these players getting a run on our zonal markers.
Yeah.
Okay. And Fred, I assume, is just coming out to, like, if they play it back, he's just going to run and fall over or something. All right. So tell me when to pause, but this is the animation of the goal. I believe it's the number 7 that scores.
Stop. All right. So what we've seen there, you can see number 9. He's got the run on his marker. Okay, so he's run from a block deeper, just from the edge of the area, and he's got the run on his marker there. And because he knows already that ball is going to the back post, it's a drilled move, so he's expecting to get it there. And he's the best header of the ball for Brentford in this movement here. Also, while he's gone to the back post, there's been movement from the guys, the 2 guys at the edge of the box. They've come into the 6-yard box. And then I spoke about the 6 and 7 who are trying to restrict De Gea's movement to stop him from claiming this ball. We know he wouldn't anyway. So there's a lot of movement there, which has also distracted the zonal guys in the 6-yard box, I believe. And the zonal guys in the 6-yard box are watching the ball and turn around to watch Tony head it across the ball. But they've headed across, and now they're out of their zone and looking elsewhere. And these runners have gone into the area. They're expecting the ball to go because they expect Tony to win the ball. Really poor.
It's so poor. I mean, I think it's brilliant how they get Tony into this area here. But this is, I don't want to harp on about McTominay, but Delo, I think, should be where Eriksen is, and McTominay should be here as an aerial threat. And we can't be asking Eriksen to do these jobs. Like, he's got to block off Tony, and look at that. That's so poor.
But just stop right there. My thing is this. Look at it's about zonal. You control your zone. And your zone is not like a foot by a foot. Your zone is you're talking about 6 meters squared or something like that. There's a big zone. Dalot, the ball's allowed to come into his zone, and he's seen the run, and he has done nothing. He haven't even challenged him. I would expect him to just put the pressure on Tony. Just obstruct him a little bit. Just get your body there first. He didn't. He's just looking at the ball, just done a little jump like that, trying to flick it, and got nowhere near it. And that's your zone. So for me, I would be straight away saying, that's your zone. You're supposed to attack that ball and put pressure on him. He's literally played the ball back.
Yeah. And what about these lads here? Like Shaw and Ronaldo, when the ball comes into the back post, what's their role as zonal markers?
Well, as zonal markers, the ball's gone back post now. So you've got to be looking around. You don't just say, my job's done. It's not my zone, not my responsibility. Because what's happened here, you've seen guys charge into the 6-yard box now. So I think one of them has to take responsibility of covering the near post, near the nearest post where Ronaldo is. And the other one come inside and sort of block the run, at least. Okay. That way, if that happens, then, you're not leaving Martinez on his own at the back post with someone who's like almost double his size in Ben Mee.
Okay, because the counter to that is that when, like, so you're saying that they have to move in when it's clear that Tony has made the contact?
I think I would expect them to, because even though it's your zone, the danger's gone now. It's gone over your head. So they're saying,
Yeah.
over me. It's gone over your head. So what do you do now? You look back and say, you're looking, and you're seeing players run into the box. So the minimum you can do is, if you don't hide, you go in and put your body in there to make numbers up to avoid these guys coming in the box. What have they done? I don't know. Well, we see the movement, but have they moved? That's the question for me. And I expect
Ronaldo's come in.
Ronaldo has. Okay, well, there you go.
You can see Ronaldo comes in. It's, for me, what's crazy, and I had to watch it twice, is Bruno's movement. Because when Tony wins the ball, Bruno is there, and I don't know how, but he ends up in. You'll see it if you watch him here. It's the number 10. As it comes over, like, Bruno has basically turned his back and has just charged out. It was crazy to see.
It's maybe someone called offside. Get pushed
Yeah,
up.
that's what I was going to ask you about.
Yeah, no.
Is that with Ronaldo and Shaw coming in, like, in the, like, when, like, I used to play for a coach who believed that we had, like, Premier League quality linesmen when we played, and that we should always, like, just leg it out the second the ball is won, because this is why you don't have a man on the line anymore. It's about, like, pushing up the pitch as quickly as possible. So I agree with you, though. Like, Ronaldo's got to get in there, and Shaw's got to get in there. And Fred, I'm actually really disappointed that Fred, when Tony wins the header, Fred hasn't come here. Because Dalot is competing with Tony for the header, and you would hope for the ball to go there.
Right.
Because he's not going to head it across the box.
Right, of course.
Yeah, and Fred, as a midfielder, like, Fred has to be in this area here. Or, like, the number 3 is going to get it, and we've got, like, overloads at the back post. It's so really poor again.
Harry Maguire is number 5. He's at least trying to block the run.
Yeah.
Or block there. But what he was doing, which I didn't like, he was hugging the man. You notice he does this thing where he hugs the bed, and he's going to get done sooner or later. He's going to get penalty given against him for that, or get sent off for it. Because he does it all the time, and he was doing it in this example here. But I do think, because the ball, I would be disappointed if the ball's come over me and come back over again and back into my zone. And where it's being buried, the last touch for it went in the goal was right in someone's zone, which was Harry Maguire and Martinez originally. So they've moved out of their zone, following ball watching, in my opinion.
So is this just like and this to me looks like cardinal sins from defenders. You know how keen I am on people being in a block in position. And, like, I don't know if Brentford have sort of pulled us out and stuff, but there's so many issues here. Like, Eriksen trying to block Tony was stupid. Yeah. Dalot, he's all right in the air, but he's not going to do it. Fred out of position. Ronaldo and Shaw not getting in, and then Martinez. I'm sorry, but you have to be at a better level than this in the Premier League.
Yeah,
like, you know, like, I don't necessarily think he's a bad player, but he's every team in the league is, like, thinking yum when they see him on the team sheet now.
Yeah.
All right, should we do some comments, or do you want to go through?
Yeah. I will do some comments. I haven't loaded a lot, but we will, because there's a couple here I think we should touch on.
Sure.
So might not be relevant. I'm just going through this. So Bart is saying Ten Hag is blameless in my view. He is by far the best thing to happen to Man United in the last decade. He's a winner, builder of teams, plays good football, and Europe's best young coach. That was on his CV when he came, but obviously he's got to adapt and get better with the players he's got. Could take some time. Andrew Williams saying David Ten Hag set the team up. He kept Maguire captain. He tried to keep Ronaldo, which is not going to work. He kept playing Luke, Harry, and Rashford. So he's saying that's a bad thing. He's also saying he managed like he'd never watched us play before. So that's an interesting point. But
yeah, I normally disagree. I normally disagree with Andrew, but I think he's spot on here. It's insane what Ten Hag is trying to do with the players at his disposal, from De Gea to Eriksen. It's crazy. I just hope he's learned his lesson. Play McTominay.
We'll soon find out, won't we? Bart fan is saying these tactical analysis videos are good, but we all must remember that players play in real time and do not have the luxury to think. So some errors are par for the course, even in the best teams. I don't know about that. I think they do have tactical analysis videos, and they go through so many things drilled in the training ground and post matches as well. They cover everything, and they got time and throughout the week to learn things and pick things up.
Yeah.
Obviously, from repetitive drills, time and time again, you've got an instinct for certain situations, and that's why I think you saying it's a luxury to not they're playing in real time, but in real time, a professional footballer should have that twitch kind of mindset where they react positively and know what's happening, which is not what we're doing at the moment.
I mean, it is Bart, and I know what he's up to, but I will give him the honour of a reply, which is that the point of coaching is so that you don't have to think. It's that you just react to it. They are professional footballers who are drilled, literally drilled, in what they're meant to be doing, and they should understand basic structure, and that people should fill in, and that people need to be in certain places. This is a bit of a sort of nonsense comment to me that Harry Maguire doesn't have a GPS that he can look at, have a look around the pitch. Come on.
Okay, so just got a couple more here. Box saying they didn't have to distract De Gea. He never does anything at corners anyway. Very good point. I totally agree with you.
We're not going it like everyone knows that De Gea was like what De Gea did in that match and what De Gea can do and can't do. And it's, to be honest, to me, it's more of a question mark on Ten Hag trying to get De Gea to do this kind of stuff. As I've been piling in on De Gea, as everyone knows, for like almost 3 years. Like it's not the time to go in on De Gea now. He's been asked to do something he can't do. It's like asking me to parallel park. Impossible.
They're going in on De Gea though. So Andy Williams saying yes, we must have signed off loaning Hendo, keeping De Gea. Ten Hag's made a mistake, says Mark Edmund, but it's because he has little choice as a club. Glazers let him down, like Ranrick said. We need 8 to 10 players, so we need better players to perform better roles here. We wouldn't have a show probably if that was the case. Rico is saying, hi Rico, by the way. Nice to see you, man. He's saying, I'm an Ajax fan, never understood the move to United with all his troubles, but he's never been a superb coach. He got away with much credit for an insane amount of youth coming through the first team. That's an interesting point.
That's the first I've heard about that. Rico, if you can tell me about his substitutions, because I've heard from a few people that Ten Hag very, very rarely makes substitutions and keeps a fixed team. So I'm interested to know what you think about him changing like a third of the team at half time.
If you can answer that, Rico, please. Yeah, great insight from Ajax fan. He's also saying we had Frankie de Jong, Mateus de Ligt, Neres, left-footed winger, Tadic, Ziyech. It was insanely lucky to have a squad of that level. So he's saying he's just blessed with a good side. And also saying he did not box. Those players played at Ajax years before he came in, same style. Devil's Rising saying there are so many issues. Pick and choose is not going to help. Although Ziyech being blocked is ridiculous. Is Devil's Rising our man?
That's Reese.
That's Reese. Big up, Reese.
That's Reese.
How you doing, Reese? Yeah, everyone's say hi to Reese. Big up to Reese, top bloke. Nice to see you on the show, bro. And Rico saying he wasn't rubbish at Ajax. He brought his own flair and credit. He was just overrated. I think he's talking about a player now, Ziyech, possibly. So just to counter that, Boxer saying Ajax had arguably superior talent in the past. The managers never achieved what Ten Hag did. Ibrahimovic, Snyder, Van der Vaart, Vitagen, Vertonghen, Ericsson. Oh God, you can see, read them all. There's good argument there. Good argument.
That's a really good point from Box. To be fair,
yeah,
he rarely makes.
I think he overachieved. He got to the semi-final of the Champions League. He must have been doing something right. And I also think rather they bringing in what they didn't do before, they brought back Tadic, older players with experience. That's something that went against their philosophy. Mark Overmars came in and he made a decision to sort of say, let's get a couple, Danny Blind, Tadic, and a couple of senior players to add to our rich youngsters. And the result was they got third in the Champions League. So that I think that was something to do as well. But I do think Ten Hag's a good coach. But that's for another show. Can we move on to the next?
Yeah. I've forgotten what it is, though, if you could remind me.
All right, so we've just done the corner, defending corners. And I think, we've seen what happened there. We're going to talk about the fourth goal and the final nail in the coffin, because it's 3-0 right now. We've covered everything. So, let's go and talk about the fourth goal and the final nail in the coffin. So this is going to cover a lot of points that especially Bath Time likes to talk about, which one of them I know is rest defence.
Yeah, no, there is actually something. There is something that I want to show, and it is absolutely beautiful from Brentford.
Yes.
This is honestly, boys, look at this. That is all 11 players in a block, forcing us into these wide areas and bringing them onto us. Now, everyone knows I love the rest defense. I don't talk about the rest offense very much, but this here is a rest offense where they're ready to counter. And I think that this is literally.
Can we stay with that for a second? Is that all right?
Well, I'm going to show you another picture.
Okay, cool. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it this one? Yeah. And then as the ball gets passed back, I've lost my pen, but you can see that they're basically moving into a 5-3-2 shape. It is gorgeous to watch. It's like ballet.
So can we just explain? So obviously Man United are probing now. They're deep in their half. And Brentford are just sitting back defending with a low block. But why would you say, so this is the issue I had with my Sunday team. Why aren't the two strikers playing near the halfway line trying to mark the defenders, the centre-backs, for example? What's the purpose of having the lines in such a tight, compact unit? Where against team got...
Hang on, I'm having issues here with stuff that I'm trying to do. I think I fixed it. There we go. Okay, so this is basically what we have just seen, and you're asking why are the strikers in this position? Yeah,
so deep and compact rather than pressing high up.
Okay, so one of the basics of football is there is an area here. I can't. Please don't shout at me if I get this wrong. I'm not a coach. I think it's called Zone 16. It could be. It's Zone something or other, and it's the most important area to defend on the football pitch. All of football is based around protecting this area, and that means that you have to give space up on the flanks. Yes. So what you do is you have your two men out here, which is the first point of your block, trying to force the ball out wide. They're not allowed. You're not allowed to play into this area here. So these two out here are stopping progression into these areas here. And then the block behind is congesting this area so that when the ball gets here, the front post, the back post, all the problem areas are cut out. And here you can see that United are not in a very good shape. We've got a platform here to recycle, but there's not enough men back, which we'll see later. But you can see the block moving here. Oh, it's so beautiful. Nice. It's so beautiful. And the reason that I've illustrated this, right, is that we always go on about the rest defense. Rest defense allows you to play up the pitch and to be protected. At times, the rest defense is going to get bypassed, right? And you're going to have to go into a block. Earlier on in the show, we showed Brentford in a rest defence, counter-pressing up the pitch, trying to take advantage of our lack of physicality. They've shown the other side of the game here, which is defending in this beautiful block and making it almost impossible for United to score. And this is the sort of thing that United need to be able to do, and they need to be able to attack. And we are attacking it incredibly poorly here. Incredibly poorly.
My Sunday team, I know it's about Man United. My Sunday team has an issue right now because we played a team at the weekend who had a lot of the ball, and I was asking the guys not to press so high and do this exact same Brentford low block and stop playing because they were playing between the lines. There's too much space. Look at that space there, hardly anything. But our team was sort of stretched out far too much, and when I was asking them to sit back, they would want to push on. They're thinking they need to get up the pitch, but we were comfortable while we were compact and nice and neat. Like you said, let them play out wide, not down zone 16 or down the middle, the centre of the pitch. So I think this is a great example that even in Premiership, how to defend in a low block. And they're not worried about getting out, or they're comfortable in that position, aren't they? Because they can build as a team,
Yeah,
as they proved, and get out and counter. Because look at all the spacing behind Man United if they get the ball. So anyway, yeah, I just want to
there
highlight
are
something.
some other things that are quite important here. Is that here we've got two players that are trying to play in between the lines in inverted positions, and the reason why you want the block so close to each other is to stop the ball being played between the lines. The
Yeah,
strikers are here because I think I talked about this like last week about the easiest way to have a fight between on the Sunday League is to play a block, because your centre back will start fighting with your like strikers, because the centre back is who decides where the line is, and
yeah,
strikers always want to be up here looking for space, but they
yeah,
have to orient themselves in line here so that it's a block. Because
yes,
if they're up here applying pressure, it's very easy to play around, and you've bypassed the block, and you now have no control over which area you're going to send it out to. So that, Amonde, is why the strikers need to play close to the midfield, and they need to be essentially they have to orientate themselves based on where the ball is, and more importantly where the back line is. So
perfectly
shout
said.
out to all
I'm
the
delighted.
Hounslow that are watching
Woodlands,
this. Woodlands, shout out to
Woodlands.
Woodlands. I know you're big fans, lads, but that's why Monday wants you to play in a low block.
Thank you. You explained it so well, and because you speak better than me, I think
Yeah.
they would listen to you instead of me. Anyway, yeah, that's perfect. I think that's just highlights exactly how important it is to defend with and without the ball.
All right, so this is now we're going to go on to the final goal, and the first thing that I want to point out to everyone is this is not good enough by any stretch of the imagination. Like we've got a platform to recycle, and we don't have any cover here, and we don't have any cover here. And you might think that this is a bit like, you're chasing the game, you're 3-0 up. When Manchester City were 2-0 down against Aston Villa with half an hour to save their season and win the league and stop them bastards at Liverpool doing anything, they played in structure, they played in formation, and this is what you have to do. And the issues that we have here, right, is we're playing a block. So all their players are here. To break a block down, you need width. So you want Shaw and you want Delo in these positions to try, because that means that players have to come out to them and spaces begin to open. We all know this. The real issue though is that you are only allowed how many in attack, Amondo?
5 and 5, so 5 in
5
attack,
and 5.
5 back.
So Eriksen or Bruno. Have I left Fred out? I know Fred's having an adventure. One of Eriksen or Bruno has to be back in the rest defense structure.
Yep.
And I would actually, I would like Martinez and Maguire to be a little bit closer, so that our counter press is a bit better. But the main issue here is that these two haven't. You remember we talked about Final Destination? They haven't seen
Yep.
Final Destination. One of them needs to be in this position or in this position to allow Martinez to come across. And this here is the rest offense, which I will probably talk about in depth at another time, where this is the guy that scores, and he's put himself on shore.
Yeah.
Like they're waiting for the breakaway, and you see this corridor of space here, like with no cover. Like over here, there's a bit of cover with Maguire, but there's no cover here, and this is a yum yum yum, thank you very much situation.
Yep.
So what happens? Well, first of all, we have a shit counter press. We got 3 men here, and none of them are able to get a foot in or anything, and this guy is off. And when you look back at it, Shaw is terrified throughout this entire move. He knows that this guy is going to eat him. He knows it from the start.
Why is he not on the inside of the guy? He should be the other side of the guy.
I agree with you that he should definitely be there.
Even if he's faster and line, he should be in that side of him.
I think it's because Shaw wants to be in this position for attacking. And what maybe the reason he's not out here is because he's scared of. Is it Mbueno? I don't know,
Yeah,
but
we know.
Mbueno's oriented himself into that space, and I think it's a combination of Shaw being brain dead and Mbueno just seeing the danger, seeing his opportunity. But this is also something I think we probably disagree on. I think Maguire does the right thing here, where Maguire is our attacking defender in a high line, so he comes out for the interception or to contest in the air. But because there's no one next to Martinez, there's no cover. Maybe Maguire should be scanning the pitch and understanding that they've got to get into a block here as soon as they can.
Yeah, I think Maguire, look, in that situation there, even a long ball, why Maguire's gone to attack the ball, I think he should be more concerned about Tony and the spacing behind him, because he realises there's only Martinez behind him. Like you said, look at that area there they can play in. So the ball's played be up behind Maguire. He missed the header. He should have just been peeling off at this stage. So the ball's still not being played. He should be peeling off. He should be backing off. And then he knows, let Tony, if Tony gets the ball deep, let him run at him. And by that point, players will come back. But to attack the ball for a header, I think that was wrong. And at this point, at the exact point of this, when I'm watching it live, watching the replay, Eriksen's having a go at Maguire, because Eriksen's tried to already explain to Maguire where he needs to be. And now Maguire's out of shape. And he's not going to be able to get back. And when people say he's slow, it doesn't really matter for me. What matters is when he makes mistakes like this, that's when he looks slow. If he was playing high, on the halfway line and dropping off, he would invite the player to get. He'd probably be where the ball is now and sort of shepherding Tony away from it. But instead, Tony gets there and just doesn't even have to play a pass. It just doesn't have to have touch. He just plays it across for his man. So I think Maguire was at fault here, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fine. I think in this system he doesn't do the wrong thing in isolation, but it's not in isolation because one of Eriksen or Bruno has to be in this space. There's no, and we've seen it time and time again from these two. Like Eriksen, I think is tactically okay. His work rate is good, but he doesn't have the explosiveness to get and to cover these areas, which means he's playing too far forwards. And Bruno is just a dipshit, to be honest. He can only go that way. And I think that if we have a player here, or at least in this area, Maguire's okay to go and try and win that ball, but we don't. We don't have a player there, and he's got to know. Like in midfield, I'm constantly looking left and right to find a fullback to shout at. And like Maguire has got to be doing the same thing as well. He's the captain, he's the leader of the defence, and he's the organiser. And I'm of the same opinion of you that looking at this situation there, I know he's on a yellow at this point. He's got to be trying to hold up Tony and protect this space.
Yeah. And then protect zone 16 or whatever, just shepherding them out. Just take them out.
That's zone 16, which is exactly where the goal is scored in. But you can also see I'm unhappy with Martinez in this again because of the lack of aggression, where what you can't see here is Martinez 2 or 3 times scans this area here because they're all terrified of this guy here. And I really think that Martinez should be getting out to put as much pressure on the man as possible. Not necessarily. I mean, I would actually just go and take him out myself if I'm not on a yellow. But he doesn't. He's just not at the level of the Premier League yet. I hope he can get there. But there's all these like fine margins that are going against him. And then bless Harry. Harry tries to get back into the right position. But the problem that we have here, right, with these two, is there are basically only 2 things in football that can't be coached. One is height and one is speed. And this is a very questionable centre-back pairing to me. I'm not saying that they're bad players, but together it's like twins. Like with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. It's like I think Pau Torres would have been a better signing, or maybe like Maguire has to go for Varane, but then who's our aggressive centre half? Because Martinez hasn't shown enough aggression to me so far.
Yeah.
But oh, look at this!
Got in
Also,
front
lads,
of,
look, he celebrates. Look at that! That's amazing CGI there for you.
just one thing I wanted to just focus on quickly. Well,
yeah,
because I didn't notice this before, but Martinez, does he sort of when he's running to cut to Tony? If we just follow Martinez, he's sort of seems to back off him. He doesn't get so
he
close.
does. It's here.
So he's getting close. So as soon as he touches the ball, Martinez is like nowhere.
Martinez scans.
Tight. Okay.
And he sees there's no one there, and so he stays. So he sort of like he doesn't go in for it because
he doesn't do. He's in two minds. He doesn't do anything really with conviction. You either, like you said, either go there. See, he's coming away from the ball now. You either go. He went half-heartedly. You go, and you put your body there to stop. He could have stopped that pass or something, or held it up. But he decided to back off and say, "Let me go and cover that space now," which has already been filled by the running Mbemo or whatever his name is.
Yeah, lads, the highlights are on YouTube, and if in the comments, if you want like the links to a video with the numbers, like with the time, so that you can see all this, I'll make Solo do it. I'm not doing it, but someone will send it to you. But these are the goals, and it is time for a couple of comments now, unless you want me to run this again.
Yeah, let's go to the comments.
Okay, I'll stop sharing.
Really figure them all out. So, Devil's Right saying Malacia should start every week. Not sure. No, Martinez get him a position that's comfortable for him. Covering Maguire never helps. Saying Andrew Williams saying Sancho and Rashford get throws out in that. Let's go. Sorry, I'm checking through. Mark Edmonds saying if we play back three, we fix everything. Shaw's a wing back. Maguire as a back three specialist. Martinez is protected. We don't need a six because the back three gives us that. So he's saying go back to a back three. Second half range. Okay, that's different. That's not relevant. Sorry, I will say hi to Rory again. Sangara got a goal and Gakpo an assist. PSV are winning at the moment. That's against Rangers. So two players that we've been looking at previously. So if the PSV do get into the Champions League, unlikely we'll be able to buy these players. Cosmo says, my brain was Shaw's body. Devils United said, Brentford finally have 3 players that immediately improve our side. Onyea, Rico Henry, and Mbwamo. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Mark Edmonds saying, Shaw is reactive ball watcher. Cosmo again saying, Shaw was dreaming of Nando's and late night dinner. Okay, you can see where they're going with that. But yeah.
So do we want to talk about, I mean, Mark's alluded to it a little bit, where I think that some changes drastically need to be made to Manchester United with the current squad. So I don't care about like bringing in players or whatever. Like we're just looking at the current squad, and
sure.
I'm going to show you what I would do, which I think we all agree would be exactly the right thing to do. So I will just share my screen again before I forget, and let us know in the comments about sensible changes that you would make, because I agree with Mark. I think that what we're going to have to do, and this is right. Amonde, what do I hate? I hate formations.
Yes, of course.
I absolutely hate formations. Boring to talk about, all that kind of stuff. I think that in build-up play, so for progressing the ball out of the pitch, we need to go to a 3 at the back, right? To allow us to get out. This doesn't mean I'm saying play 3-5-2. What I'm saying is that for the thing that we struggled with most is getting out from presses. We saw it against Brentford, and we've seen it against Brighton, or the other way round. Because Eriksen, God bless him, he's not good enough to be a single pivot, and we can't progress out. So what I would do is I would put That's the right, isn't it? I'd put Maguire there. I'd put Martinez there. I don't want to hear it, but McTominay has to start, and I'd play him in his position. I mean, his position for Scotland is in build-up. He plays on the right-hand side, and at least from what I've seen in the Euros, when the build-up play is finished, he does generally tend to move into a double pivot.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, like but I would play him in the centre here because if we lose the ball, and we will against, I think Box said Firmino is out, but we're very likely to lose the ball in build up. He can just come out and smash someone. And then up here, like for example, Liverpool, I don't even think that Liverpool wouldn't necessarily do this, but you don't really want to go man to man on two strikers, especially if one is Rashford.
They do often, don't they, Liverpool?
I haven't even put all the right players in, actually. Yeah, but like Rashford running into this channel, because we will be looking to get Trent. Yeah. I wonder, and this isn't Virgil van Dijk side. Virgil van Dijk plays on that side, doesn't he? With Robertson.
That's true.
I think that we will be looking to hit those space there, and as you can sort of see, Sancho would come into this position here. I don't think Rashford's got the technique or the skill set to play in this position. And then when we've broken their press and Liverpool go into a block, which all teams do, we can then make our rotations and we can get back into like Ten Hag's like, you know, we can get back into sort of Ten Hag system while still protecting the middle. Will he do this? I think he will do, because we absolutely have to play a double pivot against Liverpool if Martinez starts, because every team is looking to get at Martinez, and you can't have Eriksen and Fred like in these midfield positions with Shaw. Like Malacia, I think looks good, but is he 5'6", 5'7"?
Yeah, he's quite short, but he's aggressive.
Yeah,
he gets about. Yeah, he won't have it.
Yeah, but all of this leads to one man. I know you hate him, but McTominay has to play. Yeah. He has to play.
With what we've got at the moment.
Yeah,
I think this is why we needed Frankie de Jong, because Frankie de Jong does start the ball out in a back three. When he was at Ajax, he would always bring the ball out in a back three and progress the ball. And,
I disagree, you know. Really? I disagree. I think Frankie de Jong is a great player and he can play that position. But I've seen Pogba, I've seen Matic, I've seen Fred, I've seen McTominay, I've seen Eriksen all struggle in that role because of De Gea. I think that if you want to transition to this, like playing out from the back with like two split centre backs and a single pivot, I don't think it can work with De Gea. Like I agree. Whoever you put in that position, I don't think they can do it.
And you see the problem here as well. We are sacrificing our shape and team because De Gea can't do this. What we saw, you demonstrated last week with Brighton. The Brighton back three was one of them was the defender bringing the ball out. One of them was the
they were playing like this, like Brentford actually did this in the first half once or twice to us as well. They make the keeper part of the back three. So, you know, you normally have like a sort of block like that coming out to press and trying to force it into an area. But they're also good on the ball. It bypasses both the press and there's so many like passing options. And this is where I don't want to crow too much because everyone knows I'm a big De Gea hater. This is where he costs you in this kind of football. And for Ten Hag to put such an emphasis on this playing out from the back, like this dogmatic approach with De Gea, I think that who's the best holding midfielder of all time? I've no idea. Redondo or Stuart McCall or someone. Like, it doesn't matter who you put in that position. It's not going to work with this goalkeeper. And that's why I think we need three at the back.
Distribution with the goalkeeper. But last season, McTominay was dropping in there under instruction to pick up the ball, and we were coming out as a back three in a way. But it's when De Gea is giving it a short pass, and he's able to turn and bring it out like so. Because they're not going to. Some teams weren't pressing that high up; they were just pressing at a certain area, maybe at the halfway line or when they got approached them a little further. But and this is like maybe later on in the game. Initially, teams go out there and press high. I can imagine this is what happened against Liverpool. In the final against Real Madrid, for example, they pressed them high, put Real Madrid on the back foot, and then after 15, 20 minutes, Real Madrid were able to absorb that with their great balance that they have, and they're able to sort of soak it up, and then got into the game. And after that, Liverpool couldn't really press as much as they could. So against us, I think Liverpool will be coming out all guns firing and trying to get 1 or 2 goals early. So maybe this is a good deployment to say bring someone into the back three to help us another number to bring the ball out. It could work like that.
Well, I mean, there's absolutely no doubt that he will bring someone into the back three. It's whether it's a fullback or not, because we tend, like all our managers since like going back to Mourinho, have tended to play a back three against teams like Liverpool and Man City, but mainly for the build-up, on the basis that they're sending 3 bastards out to deal with us. Yeah. Like they have that front three, so you can't play a 2 into a 3 like this. You have to have someone there. But I would much prefer our fullbacks to be pushed up, and for McTominay, possibly Eriksen, to come in and make the extra man, and we get out doing that. But I would also quite like to see what the comments are saying, because back threes and McTominay will be getting me in trouble, I reckon.
Well, let's go to the comments now. So we've got Dale's right, said I'd drop Fred if we got a competent midfielder besides Eriksen, or play Martinez in midfield besides Eriksen. So a lot of people say Martinez. I don't believe he should play midfield, but
no.
Box is saying Reece, we have Cruz, Casemiro by Monday. There's no laughing. This is a great comment here from Jay. Jay, thank you. How you doing, man? Welcome to the channel. He says he's a new subscriber here. Thank you very much. And this has been a fascinating watch, he says. So make sure you big us up, big up Bath Time, big up OMONDI, and come and join us every Tuesday at 10 p.m. UK time. Thank you, bro. Del Boy Gunner in the house. How you doing, man? Mm-hmm. Good to see you. Gavin Ward saying Martinez should be using CDM and sweeper role like Mateus did. He's got all the passing skills and awareness defensively. Do you want to touch on that?
I mean, we didn't like spunk 55 million on a CDM. We bought him as a centre back, and like I know people get very excited about stats and numbers and things like that, but when you look at like his stats, they'll be compared to other defenders, not to midfielders. We've seen Eriksen be unable to come in and play it like this. If we put Martinez in at centre half, I feel like we're in a at the number 6, I feel we're giving up a little bit. We should be getting a specialist player for it. And this is back to the old sort of Lindelof stuff about let's put him there. Martinez is a centre half. That's what he's been bought for. Yeah, always believe in Phil Jones.
Yeah. Devil's Rider said De Gea could only work in a style like this if you make him play with Eriksen close in training, work on his passing, plain and simple. Gavin Ward is suggesting also drop Dalot for Wan-Bissaka, better defensively. Dalot is a complete liability, he thinks. And just to go through, like you were talking about, you mentioned the best DM or the holding midfielder. And Devil's Rider said Makaleli. Mm-hmm. We've got Makaleli or Kante. We've got Deschamps, Makaleli, Bush.
Yes, thank you, Andrew. That's who I wanted.
Image, you know, these sort of players, they're renowned for that. Oh, I like this one, Rijkaard. Rijkaard was a very good player. In that
I can't believe I said Stuart McCall compared to all these players.
And just to say this, I mean, the role of the number 6, there should be certain attributes. But I think there's different roles you can play as number 6. And Devil's Rising saying Prelo was a 6 in his years at Juve, and he was extraordinary because he started as a number 10 in his early days, and he ended up playing deep in a system that worked for him because he was able to pick up the ball from deep and spray passes left foot, right foot, and build the play as a team, which I think Frankie de Jong is similar to. Technically good because I never saw Prelo sort of tackling or doing much because the team sort of enhanced his play. They were benefiting from what he was doing.
I mean, like, I think it's disingenuous to compare Pirlo to Martinez. which I don't know if anyone was or not. But the point is, we don't have a specialist number 6, and we don't have a goalkeeper to work with him. So I think. Yeah, I agree with Gavin here. I think that we've got to be pragmatic, and I know you all hate it, but I think that we have to go back to the double pivot. And Gavin earlier mentioned Wan-Bissaka as being better defensively. I'm not sure about that. He's better one-on-one for sure. But the thing that's brilliant about Wan-Bissaka is he's really good at bringing the ball out from the back. Under Ollie, him and Lindelof were excellent at it, and I wouldn't be against bringing him in, but he's not a Ten Hag player, is he? Doesn't want him.
Doesn't seem so. That's for sure. So, do you think we've covered most of the issues from the game of the weekend and how to go forward? I feel quite satisfied. My belly's full. We've gone over quite a lot. We've got an hour and a half and a bit. I really enjoyed this. I think the graphics really illustrate the points that you're making. You've made me a converter with certain points that you've made, especially about sort of setups and defense and set pieces and how we're being exploited at the moment. I think that's really key. Last 2 weeks, we've seen that, and you demonstrated that brilliantly, Bath Time. You got anything to add before we sign out?
Not really. There's obviously lots more stuff that we could talk about. I'd like to thank everyone for sort of coming in and stuff. And I know a lot of you want to talk about signings and the Glazers and the rumour about the game being called off and Ten Hag's crazy make them run 20 kilometers or whatever it is. But all of that we'd be happy to discuss with you on other shows. We're a sort of tactics show. And I next week, it's going to be a dodgy one, I think, the Tuesday night showing. But we're really pleased that all of you are here, and it's always a pleasure to sort of talk to football-minded people. And I thought you did a great job on the corners, OMONDI. That was fantastic and fascinating.
It's great. It's easy with the graphics that you bring. So yeah, teamwork, something Man United aren't producing at the moment. So they should learn a lot from me and you. Definitely. If I could play in midfield, I'd definitely love to be your partner in midfield. I think we would stir it up. I could be your enforcer, look after you maybe, and let you have all the glory.
Oh, okay.
As I do on this show. But you deserve it. I'm going to give you a 10 out of 10 again. That was brilliant, honestly. Your observations are on point, and you always give us a bit of something to think about, change our minds on certain things and what we see, because football is such a beautiful game. That's for sure. I just want to say thanks to everyone in the comments. We will be back tomorrow, 8:30 on the Man United Agenda. Every night of the week, 8:30, Man United Agenda going out. And obviously 10 o'clock on Tuesdays, it's myself and Bath Time. We're going to do a specialist thing. It's really specific. We just go, like Bath Time saying, we're not talking about anything else but tactics and development of the game and evolution of what we're seeing with Ten Hag, especially this journey with Ten Hag. I think it's important that this show started this season because we can sort of explore, go back and see how he's developed and what happens over the course of the next few months. It's really be interesting to see. So I like this project a lot. It's called the Eye Test. Don't forget that 10 p.m. on Tuesdays, guys. And don't forget there'll be a game, watch along game for Monday. Friday night, 10 p.m. We've got the takeaway with Mr. B and TalkMU. So there's so much going on at the Man United Agenda. We appreciate all of you for tuning in tonight. And any last words? Because I'm going to sign out now.
No, not really. Good night, everyone. Stay away from carbs.
Thanks for coming, guys. Bye-bye.